What's going on, guys? Today is going to be day 5 of the free trading course. It's going to be very simple. It's just fair value gaps and imbalances. Now this is very easy to learn. It's just a 3 candlestick pattern. I do have some descriptions here, but I'm going to make it as simple as possible. So the difference between fair value gaps and imbalances is that a fair value gap is a 3 candlestick pattern. Well, both of them are. They're both 3 candlesticks pattern. But a fair value gap is 3 consecutive colors. So like red, 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 or green, green, green. An imbalance can be whatever. So for this example, this is an imbalance. So it's a red candlestick, and a green candlestick that created this gap right here. Okay, so what creates these gaps? So within the 3 candlestick pattern, you have the first candle and the third candle. And you see this one didn't create the wick, but we're going to assume that there's a wick here. And then the third candle's top wick here, so that's what would create the gap. So the first candle and third candle's wicks will create that gap. The second candle is going to be the gap itself. So if we go to the next slide here, there's 2 types of it. There's a bearish, and there's a bullish, and then there's a bearish. So there's a positive fair value gap, and then there's a negative fair value gap. The positive ones is where the first candle and third candle, so the first candle's top wick and the third candle's bottom wick, and the middle candle is going to be the gap. And then for the negative one, it's going to be the first candle's bottom wick and the third candle's top wick, and the middle one is the gap. The middle is always going to be the gap, right? And it's not always going to be a big gap. It can be a small gap, a big gap. One thing about these fair value gaps or imbalances is they can get invalidated. So let's say that this gap happens. It's supposed to act as a retracement tool. So price will go into this zone, which is the gap, and then keep going in the same direction. That's what we use as a confluence. That's the main reason for a fair value gap or imbalance. You just wait for price to go in and then go back out in the same direction. Sometimes it can just keep going straight through, and that can be another confluence that price is just going to keep continuing in the opposite direction. So if a fair value gap gets invalidated like this, we can most likely assume that price is just going to keep going downward. But if it were to touch this zone and keep going up, or break structure back to the upside, price could keep going up. Let's do some examples on the actual market. So let's go ahead and just find a little example. I mean, we got one right here, but like price was kind of consolidating through the gap. But we can see right here the bottom wick, first candle, then there's a green second candle, which is the gap. Then the third candle, that one didn't leave a wick, so we're just gonna assume that this one is the gap. Price tapped into here and closed out, and then it just started consolidating in here. It did go right through, all the way through, but then you see, this is like a very bad example. This is terrible because it went all the way through. You would think that price is going back down, and then it just ended up going back up. Bad example. Let's find a different one. This one is an example of an imbalance right here, where it's a green candlestick, red candle, red candle, but it left a gap right here, all the way through here. Price touched into it, and then it went down all the way down to here. So that one was an okay example. That one's okay. So there's also ones that don't get touched. So like this imbalance right here, as you can see, price never even touched it. This just means that price could possibly touch it in the future. As you can see, imbalances and fair value gaps, some of them don't even get touched. But I can expect that this might get touched in the future. So that might be something to look for. Left a huge one here. Well, price just, tapped into it and went up, and then later on it blown right into it, went back up and did whatever the hell it's doing. It's just consolidating through. That's why you gotta wait for it. Like my strongest opinion, honestly, for a fair value gap or imbalance is go into the 1 minute time frame like I am here, wait for that break of structure out of the box, and we'll know that it's gonna keep going up. Otherwise, it can do whatever the hell it wants. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope this video helped. I'll see you guys in the next one.